So, Borderlands 4 came out, and it was possibly the smoothest launch I've ever seen.
There's no worse influence to the Borderlands series than Randy Pitchford, the head of Borderlands, because of his inability to just stay quiet.
This is a message directly to Randy. If you are not Randy Pitchford, disregard the following sentence. Put down your phone, I say as I shake him by the shoulders. Oh my god.
You're wrong. Your experience is invalid. Just because your computer can't run the game well doesn't mean it's unoptimized. Doesn't mean that we did a poor job actually making the game.
Randy, I spent $130 on the Super Deluxe Edition. I had to give up groceries this month.
Randy, all you gotta do is give up a few more months of groceries, and then maybe you can buy yourself some good hardware.
I mean, yeah. I don't see how it could have gone any better. But for real, the game we've all been waiting for is finally here, and I have to be honest, it's been a blast playing it since launch. But I do have my issues with the game that I want to discuss, as well as what I like about the game. But before we get into everything, this video will have heavy spoilers. So if you haven't finished the main story yet, it's on you if you keep watching. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. First and foremost, as you saw in the beginning of the video, I have to talk about performance, as literally everybody and their brother have been talking about it, and for good reason. Borderlands 4 released in a completely unoptimized state because of what I believe was a lack of understanding the engine that the game was built on. What is the engine, you ask? Well, it's none other than Unreal Engine 5, which I correctly predicted would be the biggest problem in Borderlands 4 back in January, due to the track record of crappy performance in other games that were built using it. So let me explain how Unreal Engine 5 could become a huge problem for the future of Borderlands 4, and not only Borderlands 4, all of gaming. It's not all bad though, as performance is something that can be fixed with updates in the future. That is, if it's a top priority, and Randy Pitchford's outbursts on Twitter are just that, outbursts, and not a sign of what's to come. In all honesty, I rarely ever play games on anything higher than low to medium settings, as I care more about smooth gameplay and high frame rates than the game being pretty. So my mileage varies when it comes to the bad performance, but for the people that love cranking their settings all the way up and have a rig that's capable, they should absolutely be able to have at it and should be getting at minimum 60 FPS. I personally believe that even the min-spec players on low settings should be getting a stable 60 or higher as well. Another thing that I've noticed is desync when playing with other people, which some say has always been around in the Borderlands games, and to that I say, well, then they should fix it. Seeing as they've already made 6 co-op games before it, why is this still an issue? Last but not least, for performance, the in-game lighting is buggy and sometimes just flickers for seemingly no reason. So that should get fixed ASAP as well, thank you. Moving on to the characters. From what I've seen, they all seem great. I personally only played Harlow, as I've really been enjoying my time on her, but the others seem just as crazy and fun as she is, and I really enjoy that. This time around, in Borderlands 4, your character actually matters as well. Unlike Borderlands 3, you can see your characters in cutscenes, and they have dialogue in some of them as well. Thank God Gearbox took the feedback from BL3 and implemented it in a good way. On the flip side, I think character customization could be improved with things like separating hair color from outfit color, and maybe even top and bottom swapping. Other than that, the characters in this game are great, and I'm excited to see how the DLC characters will fit into the game as well. Now, let's talk about the gameplay, and this is where it gets good. But first, let's talk about what I think needs to change, or what I think is just flat out bad. First off, character locked progression is quite possibly the dumbest thing they added, and it should be changed to be account-wide so that when you start a new level 30 character, all the fast travel points are unlocked immediately. Speaking of progression not transferring, if you've played with a friend all the way through the campaign and they host, none of the fast travel points will be unlocked if you then play solo. Again, what are they thinking? These next two are small but needed. Number 1. Echo 4 needs its cooldown removed entirely. And number 2, the game needs a big bug fix patch. Alright, time to talk about the good. The gunplay in this game somehow feels better than Borderlands 3, which I didn't think was possible, but it did. So shout out to whoever made sure that happened. Not only is the gunplay better though, the movement in the game is actually so good. This is something that I've always felt Borderlands was lacking, but with the introduction of gliding, dashing, and grappling, getting around during gunfights and missions has never felt better. Though I wish you could use grapples where there weren't any grapple points. Speaking of getting around though, you can finally spawn a vehicle vehicle from wherever you are on the map with one click of a button. They've also added more in-depth vehicle customization, as well as a drone named Echo 4 to help you find your way around, as this time the game is open world, and it's actually amazing, and feels like the series should have always been this way from the start. I personally love the way they implemented it, because the world doesn't feel empty and dull, and there's almost always something you could be doing, whether that's completing a bounty, fighting a world boss, or mowing down a camp of rippers for fun. The open world feels perfect for Borderlands and should stay in the games moving forward. In Borderlands 3, one of the single biggest issues players ran into was just how easy it was to attain legendaries.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. And another one.
Well, gone are the days of getting legendaries every 5 minutes, because the devs listened and made legendaries actually feel legendary again. It takes me about an average of 8 to 12 runs to get one, and I think that's perfect for the game. Last but not least, we gotta talk about farming in Borderlands 4. You no longer have to save quit, as Gearbox have added Moxie's Encore machine. This machine lets you respawn bosses for a fee, and yet again, the series feels like it was desperately lacking something like this forever. I'm incredibly happy it was added, and it might be the single greatest change I've ever seen in the Borderlands series. Alright, now onto the story. Up front, I just want to say that I genuinely like the story of Borderlands 4. Yes, it has its flaws, and we will get into those, but overall it's a massive improvement over Borderlands 3's, and that's all I really cared about. The reason, in my opinion, that it's so much better than Borderlands 3 is because the writing didn't make me want to mute the dialogue completely. Actually, most of it is pretty good. There is some remnants of BL3's writing, but for the most part, it's solid. I also like the new characters that were added in, like Rush, Zadra, and Levain, but they also brought back Amara, the GOAT, and Zane, also the GOAT. They sort of act like guides through most of the later half of the game, which is cool because after Borderlands 3's Talk to Lilith fiasco,
Talk to Lilith. Time to talk to Lilith.
I did not want to do that again. Now on to the things I don't like, with the major one being the Timekeeper. In all honesty, he just missed the mark for me, as I found his character kind of disappointing because he never truly utilizes the bolts to their fullest potential. That is, up until he takes control of your character and, spoiler, kills Zadra. But then we just miraculously regain control by sheer willpower, I guess? As to my knowledge, this was never really explained. But just think about it. He can take control of anyone with a bolt, yet he rarely uses it to his advantage? Okay. Idolater Soul, Callus the Ripper Queen, and Vile Lictor, all in my opinion, were much better and more unique than the Timekeeper, even though he's a literal primordial guardian. The problem with this, and the reason I say he's pretty lame, is because the game has 3 other vaults around the map that each have a primordial guardian that you end up fighting. Overall, I rate the story about a 7 out of 10, as it's good, but the main villain wasn't nearly as intimidating as he needed to be. Finally, we have made it to Endgame. Sorry, let me try that again. I said, finally, we have made it to Endgame. Ah, shit. When I finished the game and started what little endgame content there was, I was disappointed to say the least. Wildcard missions are annoying and kinda lazy in my opinion, as they're just mission replay with some modifiers. Oh, and you can't even skip dialogue, even though you've already beat the mission. Gearbox, what are we doing? You do get a guaranteed legendary when you finish one, but in all honesty, I just farm for the weapon, as at least then I'm playing the game and not listening to an NPC yap for 10 minutes. Borderlands 4 added endgame trees called specialization trees. While they are better than badass ranks and guardian rank, it still misses the mark for me, as it's just kinda bland. They also added firmware, which I haven't really messed with that much because I haven't dropped anything that really meshes with my build, but from the looks of it, it's almost like a better version of the anointment system from Borderlands 3. This game also brought back Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, but it's nothing like it was in Borderlands 2, as instead of being New Game Plus, it just scales your enemies and loot more and more with each level gained, kinda like Mayhem mode from Borderlands 3. There are currently 5 levels of it, and if I'm being honest, it's okay. Nothing revolutionary, but it works. Borderlands 4 also got rid of takedowns from Borderlands 3 for who knows what reason, as the community loved them and wanted them back. So that's a huge L for the game. There are, however, vaults around the map that are pretty much just watered down versions of takedowns, but honestly, they're kind of boring after a few runs. All in all, endgame in Borderlands 4 is desperately lacking and needs to be expanded on much more than it currently is. Hopefully, the future updates will change all this. Overall, I think Borderlands 4 is a great game. Even with the lacking endgame and bad performance, I still thoroughly enjoy my time whenever I play. So for that reason, I'm giving Borderlands 4 an 8 out of 10. The game is fun, and with some DLC and endgame improvements, I can see it becoming my favorite of the entire series. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, as it helps me out a ton, and consider subscribing. I'd love to have you around. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to playing BL4. I love y'all. Have a good day. See you in the next one. Bye.